Today's actually going to be a really busy day at the shop. But first of all, don't mind the hair. I am in desperate need of a haircut and it looks like absolute dog shit. But anyways, I'm actually going to be finishing up the bay today, completely sanding it down, and also filling in the little spots of where I painted the primer at. I want to go ahead and finish priming the rest of the bay off, so that way when I have another warm day here in Ohio, I can go ahead and spray the rest of the paint. Because if you guys haven't seen, I may have mentioned it, my buddy Strasco has hooked me up with everything I need to paint the bay to the factory e-blue color. If you guys know, this is the paint code PB5. This is that color blue right there. So I am going with the OEM color for the engine bay. I was gonna do black, but the colorway that I want to do with like the valve cover and trans and all that, it might be a little too much black, and I really want the engine bay to pop, even though this is going to be like my straight drag car, I would say. So yeah, I want to go ahead and get this bay painted as soon as possible, because a little update on the block. I got a call a couple days ago. The block will be done within the next like week and a half. Just like I said, I had to get it bore 20 over, but I'll explain more on the block and all the internal parts when I get the block in hand. So I just sent the head out as well to get ported. So the motor will be done here shortly. It's just waiting on parts and waiting to get basically the block done. So I did, just like I showed in the last video, got this all sanded down and primered. There is little spots that I have to go through and fill in, but other than that, it is coming out really well. I do have to go through and sand down all these little spots that I filled in. And once that's done, I'm gonna go ahead, wipe the whole entire engine bay down as best as possible, and then fill the rest with primer. Hopefully I have enough. If not, I have a bunch of parts stores up the road. And also I have to go ahead and get the switch panel made, or I have to finish making it. I'm super close at getting it done. It's just the last video I kind of had a little scare and one of these blades actually exploded in my face. So if you haven't seen that, click the last video, and then you'll see me basically almost die. So yeah, enough talking. Let's get to sanding on this bay, because I really want to get it done tonight. And Mikey's on his way up here. He's actually gonna do some work on the SRT. If you guys haven't seen this thing, this is my buddy Strasco's car. It is a really low mild SRT. I think it has like 79,000 miles. We are actually doing a little bit of maintenance to it for him, because he's really busy with work. So if you guys are actually interested in buying a SRT soon, especially a white one, this will be going up as soon as it's done. We're actually getting ready to do a head gasket on it, as well as some little maintenance mods. So this is basically what it looks like now. We actually got it taken apart here and there, but it's really clean. This thing is so clean. I honestly wish I had the money, I'd buy it myself. And this is the interior. This thing is super clean. And just like I said, it does have around 79K miles. And if you guys are interested, may hit them up on Instagram or Facebook. And yeah, so let's get to it and let's start finishing this bay. All right, so I went ahead and got most of the patches sanded down. This is actually coming out really well. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in some of these little pinholes as well as these little pinholes over here. And I also have to finish up this little patch in this area. So I'm gonna go ahead, mix up some Bondo for that. And I actually started making the switch panel. This is the idea that I was going with. Just like I said, I threw this plate out the window. I'm not gonna use that anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and use these little thin plates. And this is actually coming out really well. Basically just for eyeballing it, it's actually perfect in the center, which is dope. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish this up and start laying a little bit more Bondo and go ahead and get the switch panel in the car. And went through and filled in most of the pinholes that were really noticeable, as well as back here, and just like 2 little spots or 3 spots up on this area. So as those are drying, I actually got the switch panel fully made and mocked up. It's in there bolted down. There's 2 more holes that I do have to make, but as you can see, it is in there. I do have the glue drying right now, but while the engine bay is drying, I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted inside the car. Go ahead and grab 4 of these. All right, go ahead and grab this, get it set up in there like that. I'm already liking how this looks because I'm not going to be running a radio, so it's actually going to come in handy, just like I said, for like the fuel pump and everything else that I hook up to this. So I'm still waiting on getting the fuel pump as well as the injectors. That's the only pieces, or those are the only 2 major things I need for the fuel system. I do still need like a couple AN fittings, like dash 10 AN fittings and dash 8, and so that way I can run the feed and return line, and then I just got to run the power and ground wire to the switch panel, and then we should be good to go for that. All right, so I was able to find the vents, but I wasn't able to find the dials for the temperature. I know I have them somewhere in the shop, but I just have to spend a little bit more time searching for them. But this is what the interior is looking like, and I absolutely love it. Like it just looks so good. and I cannot wait till this car is done. And just like I said, I do have to get the handbrake installed, which that should be coming in the mail sometime soon. And as well as I'm actually thinking about gutting these doors a little bit more. I'm actually thinking about cutting the whole entire skin out, as well as possibly running Lexan windows in the rear. I wanted these to be useful, like the crank windows, which they still are, but I mean, with having no interior, as well as a fuel cell and like all this other crap, no one's ever going to be rolling down these windows or sitting in the back seat. So why not just get rid of them and save a shit ton of weight on the ass end of the car. And also, I got these gussets cut out for the bumper, because as you guys know, when racing or doing a good amount of, you know, high rated speed on the road, this bumper tends to catch a lot of air and flare outwards. I know I've had a buddy of mine actually broke both the tabs off the bumper, and they basically fanned out that way, and it basically wanted to rip the bumper off. So also it's going to help with a little bit of the aerodynamics as well as the wing. But I mean, I noticed to some guys, I guess it helps with autocross. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I personally didn't like the way they looked at first, because my buddy's car had them, and I don't know why, I just somehow fell in love with them. I think it was because I saw another e-blue SRT with them, and I think it just, I don't know, I honestly like the way it looked, and especially having the carbon fiber trunk, it just pulls it off. Like it just looks so good, and I'm actually happy on how that came out. So yeah, just like I said, we'll be getting a new hood soon, so expect a re-clear video coming, because I do want these to look absolutely amazing and basically get those looking brand new. So that's basically it for today. I wasn't able to get these sanded down because they are still drying, but once those are sanded down, I'm gonna go ahead and go through over everything again, and then get the rest of the primer sprayed. And then once the primer is sprayed, then I can go ahead and lay the actual color on the bay, so that way the bay will be completely done. And then that way I can go ahead and mount this subframe back up, as well as get all the brakes on, do all the brake work, get all that done, get this red bumper painted, because this blue bumper is a piece of shit. Just like I said, I do have to fix these corners, which that shouldn't be an issue. So those should actually work really well. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.